It's Richard Slay here, fixing my hair a little bit. The flowers behind me are in our backyard here in Boalsburg, and they're called Silla. They're these little blue flowers, and we've got a bunch of them. It's really cool to see them sprouting up. And today, I wanted to talk about some more things about breath. And your breath is your power. And when you play the harmonica, you breathe music. You breathe it in, you breathe it out. And so harmonica players have a good idea of on one level of the power of your breath. And in times of crisis, it's good to understand the power of the breath and to have a few simple ways to tap into it. So one of the things I want to do is to give you a couple of things that I've learned over the years that I think are super useful. And one of them is called the square breath or square breathing. And it is a way to calm yourself down when you're having thoughts that are driving you nuts. And it's used by Navy SEALs, for example. I think I hear my cat. Yep, there comes Ginger. And what it is it's easy to remember because the way it works is you just imagine a square. And when you breathe in, like say to a count of 6. And that's one side of the square. And then you hold the breath for the same amount of time, 6 more counts. And then you breathe out for another 6 count if you're using 6. And then you hold your breath again. In other words, your empty lungs, you hold that state for 6 seconds. And breathe in, hold, breathe out, hold. And that's the way it works. And this is one of the things, like I said, the Navy SEALs train with this. And so they have it available when they get into a stress situation. They can remember this very easily and do it. And so rather than try to convince you that this works, let's just do it. So I'm going to do a modified form of guiding you through this. It's similar to the way I teach people to train rhythm on the harmonica. I go, that's an in breath. Only we're not doing this with the harmonica. So now I've got both hands. And here's how it's going to work. I'm going to count in like this. Since I'm breathing, I'm not going to verbalize it. I'm going to do a 6 count because that seems to be fairly easy to work with. And I'm going to go breathe in 1, 4, 5, 6, and then hold. That's hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out breath. I also suggest breathe through your nose, not through your mouth. That increases the power of this exercise. Okay, so here we go. So if you did that along with me, that's our cat, Ginger. If you did that along with me, you have a bit of an experience of what this does. What I've experienced with this is that it definitely relaxes me. It brings me down if I'm jacked up, if I'm having, anxiety. And the way it works is that when you're having anxiety or fight or flight, you go into shallow breathing. You get this, chemical dump, and your breathing goes shallow. So if your breathing is shallow or on the shallow end, then your body tends to start thinking that it's in danger. If you override that consciously by doing this, and the other thing is when you breathe in, you want to really fill your lungs up so your belly expands and you feel it going down into your solar plexus. And then you hold it. And so what happens is this deep breathing gives your subconscious mind or your body the message that you're safe. And then it relaxes, and when it relaxes, everything opens up, your circulation increases, blood flows more freely throughout your whole body. Everything, your intuition starts working again because it's not being blocked by fear. And so when you do this and you allow yourself to relax, you start to tap into all of those resources that you have when you are relaxed. And that fear shuts out. So that's square breathing. Another form of breathing that is even simpler is just simply deep breaths and make sure that the exhale is longer than the inhale. And both of these will do the trick if you do them for a minute or so. And the other thing about it, especially when you're doing the square breathing, because you're counting, it takes over your conscious mind to the whole process of counting gives your conscious mind something to do other than generate variations of fear thoughts. So that, so it works in your brain, it works on your lungs, it works on your whole body. And the other thing about your breath is your power, and I talked about this in my last video, I mentioned it in passing, is just simply that, it's like when we play the harmonica, there's all these little reeds in here, and they're really tiny, and they don't have any power until our breath fills the instrument. The same thing happens with your thoughts. When you're filled, you may have an incredible, we all have a huge variety of thoughts going through our heads all day long. But the ones that we give our breath to, the ones that we fill with the life of our breath are the thoughts that have the most power. So if you just simply refuse to say out loud anything that's running through your head that's like fearful, negative, crazy, whatever, we're all crazy part of the time, but you don't have to say that out loud. Nobody needs to know. So anyhow, that's another level of your breath as your power. I decided to add another section to this video because there was something I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention. And also this morning, early in the morning, I woke up twice with the kind of dreams that just drive you nuts, like where I wake up and I'm like, my heart's racing and I'm panicking, and I realize that I'm not, in the middle of whatever it was, I'm not in the dream. I'm here and safe at home. And both times, because I was doing this video yesterday on using square breathing, I immediately said, okay, practice what you preach. And twice I just brought myself back down this morning by lying there in bed and just practicing the square breathing techniques. It's a good thing to practice, and it's also a good thing to tell your friends about. And this is knowledge that's worth spreading right now. The thing about practicing breathing techniques that is so amazing to me is that breathing is a bridge between worlds. It's a bridge between your conscious thinking and your subconscious mind. And it's the most direct way I know to make a real change very quickly in your overall state. And we're all in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic, and there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up, I think, for all of us. And if we all take personal responsibility for reacting, or responding is the right word, responding in a way where we bring our own conscious state into a better place, then we affect the collective consciousness. So the personal becomes universal. We are all connected. I think that's one thing we're learning from this situation, is that we are all connected. And because we are all connected, we all personally can add our own sense of calm and a healing presence through our own work on ourselves. One more reason to practice these breathing techniques: talk to a yoga instructor, learn more about the amazing power of the breath. By the way, I'm here in Spring Creek, and this is right near where I live, and it's really great to get outside and do some breathing first thing in the morning, get centered, get ready for the day. There you go. That's my little tag for this video. See you soon.